Yep.
Good morning, everyone. We're going to take up one bill this morning, Senate Bill 218. We worked on this a little bit last week, and I think we have some modifications to the content of that, as well as some other issues that we're going to take up with regard to earned income tax credit. So, Matt?
So Senate Bill 218 is the Maryland Child Tax Credit that the committee discussed last week, and there's been some new amendments that are being offered. You should have a reprint in front of you. The first big amendment is it brings in the Earned Income Tax Credit as was passed in the Relief Act, and is going to make modifications to that for tax years 20, 21, and 22. And what it does is it allows, right now the Earned Income Tax Credit is calculated based on what you receive under the Earned Income Tax Credit at the federal level. There's certain individuals who are denied the Earned Income Tax Credit at the federal level because of a provision in the Internal Revenue Code. And so everywhere within the Earned Income Tax Credit statute where the provisions are tied to the Section 32 of the Internal Revenue Code, it divorces the state calculation from the federal calculation. So when you see or that would have been allowable but for the limitation under Section 32M of the Internal Revenue Code, the intent there is that the amount calculated for the state purposes should be calculated without regard to Section 32M of the Internal Revenue Code. So that's the first big change. It doesn't change any of the changes that were made to the Earned Income Tax Credit by the Relief Act. It just adds in these provisions for those 3 tax years that I mentioned. The second change is with regard to the child tax credit, which starts. The pages aren't numbered, but it's the Section 10-751 provisions. Here, the amendments would leave in the requirement that a qualified child be a dependent for purposes of Section 152 of the Internal Revenue Code, and then it limits who a child can be. The child needs to be under the age of 17 and then have a disability that's recognized under the education article. And then it refines the definition of a taxpayer to basically say that a taxpayer is an individual filing an income tax return or a married couple filing a joint income tax return. And that same definition is used within the Earned Income Tax statute under 10-704. And then it terminates the bill after tax year 2022.
All right, so what it does then, it makes the Earned Income Tax Credit available to every taxpayer.
Correct.
And it, for purposes of the child credit, we've limited it now to just those families where a child is defined with a disability.
Correct.
And that's pretty much what it does. Questions? Senator Eckert.
Thank you very much, but is this a special tax credit in addition to what we've already done for our other families, the child care tax credit? How is it?
It's not child care. It's a direct payment. It's $500 to tax-paying families that receive have a child under 17 who has a disability. Direct $500 payment per child in that situation. Now, there's an income limit, and it's very low. So it's only for families where their income is at $6,000. So these are very poor individuals who happen to have a disabled child.
Correct, but what I'm trying to get in my head, because I've heard different terms, it was a child care tax credit, the original bill.
No, it was never.
Never.
No, it was never. It was always a credit bill.
Okay,
Before, it included children who were under, what was it, 6?
6.
Under 6 years of age.
correct.
So it included a broader group of children. Now it's a smaller group of children.
That's what I'm trying to get the difference of. How is it different now that we've added just with the disability?
How is it different?
Yeah, so it's just
the
those with
families,
disabled
families
children.
who have children who are under 6 years old, who also are very low income at $6,000, that component has been taken out. We're just focusing on the families that have a disabled child.
Okay.
I'm happy to, am I about?
That's correct.
We can talk some more if you like. Yeah, who's, Senator Quarterman?
Disability. I was trying to look up I don't have access to the
It's
education article. What's the definition of that? I couldn't find it.
I've got it right here. So it's a child with a disability as defined under the Education Article 8-401, and that means a child who's been determined through appropriate assessment as having autism, deaf-blindness, hearing impairment, including deafness, emotional disability, intellectual disability, multiple disabilities, orthopedic impairment, other health impairment, specific learning disability, speech or language impairment, traumatic brain injury, visual impairment, including blindness, and who, because of that impairment, needs special education and related services.
Okay, thank you.
Senator Alforth?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So I see that this is going back to tax year 20 will be covered in that. Is that correct, Matt?
Correct.
Okay. I know some of the challenge last week in the conversation was about budget flow and whether that would be solved here.
I mean, so what was it? Is it today or what was it, the
14th?
14th, which was
14th,
yesterday?
yeah,
It's,
I think
it's
the-
probably tomorrow.
Right. I mean, the system should be open.
Yeah, so the issue is because of sort of the instant nature of tax filing, that's the first day that individuals can file electronically. So could it potentially cause a little blip, and I guess they'll have to settle it out somewhere? Yes, until the time comes that it's settled out. But I don't think that changes the nature of the fact that whatever individuals are due, they will get what they do, but it would be settled out, I presume. Is that accurate?
I would hope so, yes, that the comptroller will either recognize that this bill is moving through and hold these returns,
Okay.
or there would be some mechanism within the comptroller's office to rectify this for anybody who filed early.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Senator Zucker, do you have a question?
I'll wait till everyone's done.
Okay.
Yes. I just wanted to restate it in my own words to see if I understand it correctly. So basically, the bill has two significant provisions. One provision essentially decouples us from federal law in a way to make sure that all taxpayers get the benefit of the Earned Income Tax Credit on the same terms as everybody else for a 3-year period of time. The other provision sets a permanent provision in law for this children's tax credit for disabled kids.
The children's tax credit is the 3 tax years also.
Oh, it's 3 tax, okay. So both are just for the 3 tax years. One is for the disabled kids. The other is to make sure all taxpayers have access to the Earned Income Tax Credit.
Correct.
Thank you. That was it. I just want to clarify a little bit. Thank you.
Further questions? Is there a motion?
Senator Zucker.
Senator Zucker?
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. I was going to move the amendments.
Okay, all those in favor of the amendments, raise your hands. Actually,
Center Court amendments. Oh, okay,
okay, so we're unanimous?
okay.
Yep, with Senator King absent.
I'd move the bill as amended.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor of the bill as amended?
Okay. I got
Uh,
it. I got it. Oops.
Senator Eckert is,
So it'll be Senator Quarterman and Senator Edwards on that.
And-
And Senator Salling.
and Senator
Okay.
Sox, correct. Okay. All right, thank you all very much. That ends our work session.